When I was growing up, you often didn't talk about your past. Why was that?
Well, first of all, it was very complicated. Also, your dad spoke so much and told so many stories about his life and his growing up that I really couldn't get a word in edgewise a lot of the time. So that had a lot to do with it.
But he came from a big family in Mississippi.
Yes.
You know, a much different family than your own, poor family, essentially. But it was a much larger family. You never really had that sense of what a family could be.
No, I didn't have that, and I also didn't really have a mother and father figure, because my mother figure was my nanny, my nurse, who I called Dodo, and my father figure was my grandmother, who was Nanny Napoleon, and so I really
She worshipped Napoleon.
Absolutely worshipped Napoleon, and
that was her model.
Her role model, her model in every way.
You think she was actually almost maybe crazy?
I loved her so much, but I do think she was in many ways sometimes deranged, you know.
For people who don't know, I mean, you were the subject of this custody battle at the height of the Depression in 1934. You were 10 years old, and it was a battle between your mother, who you really didn't know very well, and your aunt, your father's sister. But also behind your aunt was your grandmother and your governess.
Well, yes, they really sort of plotted, because I didn't even know that my aunt existed until I was 9, because after my father died when I was 15 months old, my mother took me to live in France, in Paris. And
you didn't really even know her. I mean, you would see her kind of coming and going out to parties, but you didn't have a real relationship.
I had no relationship with her at all, and I just worshipped her from afar, and she was so beautiful, you know.
You never really felt much connection to the Vanderbilts.
I felt no connection.
You felt like
an
imposter.
I felt like an imposter, yes.
And
absolutely.
have for much of your life.
And still do, really.
Really?
They're, you know, I mean, I'm kind of impressed with them, you know.
Like something you read about in a book.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like it has
nothing to do. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with me.
I was always glad I didn't have that last name, because I think that name comes with a lot of preconceived notions about. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this film, this book, is that I think your life is so different than people might imagine it to be. I mean, it's really about working and creating art and beauty, and, you know, I don't think people know. You have a very public face, but I don't think they know the person behind it. It's interesting, you don't think of yourself as a public person. I mean, you don't have any sense of what other people
No, I don't think of myself as a public person or at all. And because of the custody case, I really sort of never read things about myself in the newspapers, and
you still don't read.
I try not to. All I care about is the photograph. That was a good photograph.